Every champion you admire today began their journey not with genius, not with talent, but with a decision about how they would face the world with their attitude. Pause and let that sink in. Not skill, not intelligence, not resources. Attitude. That invisible force, that quiet, relentless energy inside you, determines the course of your life far more than anything you can measure or practice. Think about it. Countless people with extraordinary skill fail because they lack the courage, the persistence, the unwavering faith in themselves to push beyond obstacles. Meanwhile, those with average abilities but an unstoppable attitude rise above, seize opportunities, and achieve greatness that seems impossible. Consider this: the world does not reward talent alone. It rewards those who refuse to surrender in the face of failure. It honors the ones who keep moving forward when the entire crowd doubts them, who smile when others despair, who see challenges not as threats but as invitations to grow. Your skills may open doors, yes, but your attitude decides whether you walk through them with confidence or tremble at the threshold. Attitude is not something you are born with. It is a choice. Each morning, when you awaken, you have the power to decide the lens through which you will see your life. Will you allow setbacks to define you, or will you use them as fuel to catapult yourself higher than ever before? Will you focus on limitations or possibilities? Will you sit quietly in the shadows of others' achievements, or will you step boldly into the arena and declare, "I will succeed because I refuse to quit"? Let me make something perfectly clear: skill alone is hollow. Talent alone is fragile. You can spend a lifetime perfecting your abilities, yet if your attitude is brittle, negative, or passive, your efforts will crumble under pressure. But a strong, positive, unshakable attitude, that cannot be taught in schools, measured in tests, or stolen by rivals. It is yours and only yours to cultivate, and when combined with even modest skill, it becomes unstoppable. It creates leaders, innovators, and visionaries who defy odds and leave legacy. Think of the people you admire most, those whose lives inspire you to dream bigger. Did they all start as experts? No. What they possessed, what drove them relentlessly forward, was a mindset that refused to accept no as final, that viewed every setback as a stepping stone, that treated every failure as a lesson and every challenge as an opportunity. Their attitude transformed ordinary circumstances into extraordinary triumphs. And here lies the secret: if they could do it, so can you. But only if you understand this one principle. And yet, most people misunderstand this truth. They chase certificates, degrees, endorsements, and accolades, believing these will guarantee success. They sharpen their skills while ignoring the inner fire that makes skills meaningful. They are preparing to swim, but refuse to learn how to breathe in the storm. And storms will come. But what happens when the storm hits and your attitude is stronger than your skill? When every door closes and every expert tells you, "It's impossible." That is where legends are born. That is where ordinary people do the extraordinary. That is where the real power of attitude becomes undeniable. And now, as you sit here, wondering if you have what it takes, I must warn you, the next revelation will challenge everything you thought you knew about success. For it is not enough to want a positive attitude. You must know how to forge it, strengthen it, and wield it like the most powerful tool in your life arsenal. Imagine two people entering the same battlefield of life. One is armed with unmatched skill but carries doubt in their heart. The other has average skill but a mindset sharper than any sword, a will stronger than any fortress. Who do you think will endure when the fight gets brutal? Who will rise when everyone else falls? History, time and again, proves the same truth: attitude triumphs over skill every single time. You see, skill is limited by circumstance. Skill can fail under pressure, falter in unexpected storms, or be rendered irrelevant by a twist of fate. But attitude is infinite. It is the spark that ignites determination, the engine that drives persistence, the invisible force that can turn failure into the foundation of victory. The person with the right attitude doesn't wait for perfect conditions. They create them. They don't wait for opportunity, they invent it. And in moments when skill alone would surrender, attitude stands tall and says, "I will find a way." Let me tell you a story, one that could be your own if you choose to listen closely. A young man, unknown, overlooked, and underestimated, dreamed of greatness. He had raw talent but no formal training. He was surrounded by rivals who were more skilled, more educated, more prepared. And yet he chose a different path. He cultivated an attitude of unwavering persistence. He trained his mind to embrace discomfort, to see failure not as the end but as a compass pointing him to growth. Day after day, he faced rejection, ridicule, and doubt, yet his attitude refused to yield. And eventually, the world that once ignored him began to bend to his vision. That is the secret power you hold. Attitude turns impossibility into inevitability. Here's the crucial lesson: attitude is contagious. It spreads faster than skill, multiplies the effect of every action, and inspires others to follow. Teams, organizations, communities, none rise to greatness on talent alone. They rise when leaders, and every single member, carry an attitude that refuses to quit, refuses to complain, refuses to settle for mediocrity. That energy radiates, it attracts allies, it opens doors, it even transforms adversaries into supporters. Skill can impress people once, maybe twice, but attitude leaves a lasting mark that no certificate, degree, or accolade ever could. Yet, many people sabotage themselves without even realizing it. They spend years sharpening their abilities while feeding doubt, negativity, and fear in their hearts. They polish their craft but neglect the furnace of the mind. And when life tests them, skill becomes brittle, like steel left in the rain, while attitude, the one thing they ignored, remains the ultimate determinant of survival and success. So ask yourself right now, what is your attitude saying about you? Are you projecting doubt or confidence? Are you shrinking from challenge or leaning into it? Are you defining yourself by what you lack or by the strength of your resolve? Because make no mistake, the world does not reward those who are skilled but timid. It rewards those who are courageous enough to act, persistent enough to endure, and bold enough to believe even when everyone else doubts them. And yet, here is the turning point that most people never reach. Cultivating attitude is not just about positivity or courage. It is about mastery over yourself, over your emotions, over the choices you make in every fleeting moment. But few understand how to do this effectively, and even fewer act consistently. Those who do, however, they achieve results that seem almost miraculous. But how exactly do you forge such an unshakable attitude? How do you make it unbreakable, unstoppable, inevitable? That is the revelation I will reveal next, and it is the key that separates those who stumble from those who soar. The first step to cultivating an unshakable attitude is to understand this: your mind is the battlefield, and your thoughts are your weapons. Every morning, when you wake, your mind begins whispering messages, some encouraging, some toxic. And what you choose to feed it, you will become. A skilled individual with a negative, defeated mindset will crumble under pressure. But someone with even modest talent, who has trained their mind to fight relentlessly with optimism, resilience, and determination, will conquer every challenge. Attitude is not passive. It is deliberate, intentional, and fiercely disciplined. It requires you to monitor the dialogue within yourself and replace weakness with strength, fear with courage, and doubt with relentless belief. The person who develops this mastery does not allow setbacks to define them. They look at obstacles and say, "This is not the end. This is an opportunity to prove my resilience. This is my proving ground." Every failure becomes a lesson, every criticism a tool, and every delay a challenge to sharpen their determination. Think about this: if skill alone were enough, the world's most talented would always be the most successful. But we know that isn't true. Millions of skilled individuals never rise because they lack the inner fire, the refusal to quit, the dogged determination to move forward when the path is unclear. Skill can teach you how to perform, but attitude teaches you how to endure, how to adapt, and how to triumph when everything seems stacked against you. Here is another truth most people ignore: attitude fuels creativity, innovation, and resourcefulness. The person who approaches life with a positive, relentless mindset sees solutions where others see walls. They turn limitations into launching pads, obstacles into stepping stones. They find a way to achieve results even when talent is limited, resources are scarce, and the odds appear impossible. That is the ultimate power of attitude. It transforms ordinary abilities into extraordinary outcomes. Yet, despite knowing this, so many fail to act. They sit waiting for inspiration, talent, or perfect conditions. They believe that skill alone will carry them, that natural ability will shield them from adversity. And when life inevitably delivers hardship, their fragile confidence crumbles, and they are left questioning their potential. But you, if you embrace the principle of attitude over skill, will never face such defeat. You will rise, adapt, and press forward. You will become the person who converts challenges into victories, failure into fuel, and setbacks into stories of triumph. And here is the most critical secret. Cultivating attitude is not a one-time act. It is a continuous process, a daily commitment to strengthen your mind, refine your focus, and dominate your inner dialogue. It is choosing, moment by moment, to respond to life with courage rather than fear, with determination rather than despair, and with vision rather than hesitation. Those who master this craft do not just achieve. They inspire, they influence, and they leave an impact that lasts far beyond their own lives. But mastering attitude is only part of the equation, because attitude alone without action is like a roaring fire trapped behind glass, visible, impressive, but powerless. To unleash its full potential, you must pair attitude with relentless action, with strategic effort, with a refusal to be idle while life passes by. And this is where most people falter, even when they know the power of attitude. So, how do you transform your attitude into unstoppable action? How do you turn mindset into tangible results that demand attention and respect from the world? That is the secret that separates dreamers from achievers, and it is what I will reveal in the next part. Action is the bridge between attitude and achievement. Without it, even the strongest mindset remains dormant, a potential unrealized, a fire unlit. But when attitude drives action, the results are unstoppable. The person with modest skill but relentless effort fueled by unwavering belief can outperform the most talented individual who hesitates, doubts, or fears. Success does not reward potential. It rewards persistent execution guided by an indomitable spirit. Let me paint a picture for you. Two athletes train for the same competition. One possesses raw talent, natural speed, and flawless technique. The other has average skill but a hunger that cannot be satisfied, a drive that cannot be contained. On the day of the race, the talented athlete falters under pressure, distracted by nerves, weighed down by the fear of failure. The determined competitor, guided by an unyielding attitude, pushes forward with heart, courage, and relentless focus. Who crosses the finish line first? Not skill alone, it is attitude in action. This principle applies not just to sports, but to every area of life: business, education, relationships, creativity, and personal growth. Opportunities are not reserved for the most skilled. They are seized by those with the courage to act, the persistence to continue, and the mindset to transform obstacles into stepping stones. Every challenge becomes a chance to rise higher, to learn faster, to grow stronger. And every setback becomes fuel, propelling you forward with greater force than before. Yet, most people fail to grasp this truth. They focus solely on honing skills, accumulating knowledge, or chasing recognition. They believe that if they perfect their craft, success will naturally follow. But life has a way of testing you in ways no skill can anticipate. The storms of adversity will arrive, and skill without attitude is powerless against them. It is the person who refuses to surrender, who refuses to compromise their vision, who responds with relentless action guided by unwavering belief. That is the one who conquers, achieves, and transforms their world. Here's the secret many overlook. Attitude-driven action is contagious. It inspires others to act, elevates those around you, and creates a ripple effect that magnifies impact far beyond what skill alone can accomplish. A single individual with the right attitude can shift the momentum of a team, a company, or even an entire movement. Talent may open doors, but attitude combined with decisive action builds empires. But there is another layer, one that separates those who achieve temporary success from those who create lasting legacies. Attitude must be paired with resilience, with the ability to recover from setbacks faster than others, to learn more quickly than others, and to persist longer than anyone imagined possible. This is where ordinary people are transformed into extraordinary achievers, where the power of mindset becomes the engine that drives lifelong success. And now, as we approach the final revelation, it is essential to ask yourself, are you ready to take the principles of attitude, action, and resilience and embed them into every fiber of your being? Are you prepared to transform yourself from a passive participant into a relentless force that shapes your destiny? Because what I am about to share next, the ultimate strike that binds all these truths together, is the key to not just surviving, but thriving beyond your wildest imagination. Now, let us bring everything into focus. Attitude is the invisible engine that drives human potential. Action is the fuel that propels it forward. Resilience is the armor that allows it to withstand every storm. Alone, each is powerful, but together they become unstoppable. When you align your mindset, your choices, and your persistence, skill becomes secondary. Talent may get attention, but attitude backed by relentless action commands results. It creates opportunities where none exist, victories where defeat seemed inevitable, and legacies that endure far beyond a lifetime. Consider the lives of those who achieved the extraordinary. None were perfect, none had all the answers. What they possessed above all else was an attitude that refused to be broken, a belief in themselves that defied circumstance, and the courage to act when others hesitated. They understood a fundamental truth: skill can be learned, but attitude must be mastered. And once mastered, it becomes the greatest asset a human being can wield. A force that shapes destiny, influences others, and leaves the world forever changed. Now, ask yourself, what kind of person do you want to be? Will you allow fear, doubt, and hesitation to dictate your path? Will you rely solely on your abilities, hoping they will carry you through challenges that are inevitable in life? Or will you take the road less traveled, cultivating a mindset that is unwavering, taking action that is relentless, and building a resilience that is unshakable? Because the moment you commit to mastering your attitude, to channeling it into action, and to cultivating resilience, the world itself begins to bend toward your vision. Understand this: the battle is not against skill, luck, or circumstance. The battle is within you. It is fought in the mind, in the heart, in every choice you make when no one is watching. And the victor of that battle, attitude over skill, persistence over doubt, action over hesitation, will claim not just success, but the power to transform their life in ways most will never imagine. And now, here is your final challenge, the strike that will linger in your mind and ignite your soul from this moment onward. Commit to a new law for your life: attitude over skill, action over excuses, resilience over surrender. Let it guide every thought, every decision, every effort. Refuse to let circumstances dictate your limits. Refuse to let fear silence your ambition. And each day, when the world tests you, remind yourself skill may open doors, but attitude will carry you through them, and relentless action will build the empire behind them. Today, you stand at the threshold. Step forward and prove that your mindset is stronger than any challenge. Act boldly, persist relentlessly, and let the world witness what happens when attitude becomes unstoppable. Because greatness is not born, it is forged, and it begins with you.